when I got to Seattle, Al Woods and Gerald Henderson welcomed me with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Chambers, you know. So when new people came in, I tried to do the same thing. I tried to be there for Nate when he was a rookie in his second year. All the music come out. I used to give him all the music. I like, when I buy one for me, I will buy one for him. Point guard, got to take care of the point guard. Even when Sean Kipp came in, I remember they wouldn't even let him in the club, and I would know the club people, and I was like, "Nah, let him in the club. He will sit with me, and he will be with me the whole time. And I would make sure he wouldn't have a drink. He can come in, but I used to look at him and say, "Don't piss me off and have a drink. Your mama gonna be mad at me." He would never do nothing wrong. So when he wanted to go, and if I was going out that night, I let him come with me, but he had to stay with me. So I tried to look out, but because that's what Al Wood and Gerald Henderson did for me.
Right. You when you had a couple of deep playoff runs in your career, and the first one came in your second season. And we talked to Nate about this a little bit. That '87 Sonics team, that's another team people really fondly remember up there because it's one thing when you're the '96 Sonics and everybody thinks you're good and everybody's ready for you to go to the finals,
Right.
and that's great when you hit the expectations. But it's kind of fun for the fans, and I'm assuming for the players too, when you're just kind of out there and nobody's expecting anything, and all of a sudden you guys got hot at the right time. Dale had a great series against Dallas, who he was mad at for, they didn't use him right. What do you remember about that '87 team, and how did you guys pull it together and get all the way to the conference finals after a pretty average regular season?
Well, if you remember game one, it was a massacre.
150. You guys gave up 151 points, X.
Right. We lost like by 38 points.
Yeah.
And we were in a meeting, and I was like, we're supposed to be dubbing Mark Aguirre when he get in the post. Mark Aguirre, 240 pounds. I'm 205. Mark Aguirre and Tom was supposed to come down. Tom would come, but he would always late. Mark Aguirre get that shot over me. And, guys like Mark and Magic, it don't matter if you got hands in their face, they're going to make shots.
Right.
So we were starting to talk in a meeting. It's like, well, X, you get Pert, and then you double on him. Soon as Mark would get it, I was on him. And that's the way Tom was supposed to be. Tom was always hesitant to double down. And so when we start doing that, which everybody incorporated that against Mark Aguirre, doubling him because he's going to give it up. So we just start doubling, and that limited his touches in the game. And that made Sam Perkins and some other guys to have to be bigger scorers. And Dale just had an unbelievable game. I mean, he just shot the crap out of it. And then also in that game, you don't remember, Hopper basically had Nate McMillan in his pocket. So what we did, if Mark Aguirre wants to guard me, I brought it up. And then I would give it to Nate. We ran our offense. So we made Mark Aguirre work on defense. And then a couple of times he tried to play me full court, and I just went right by him and dunked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so because the Sonics hadn't made the playoffs, the Seattle Coliseum was sold out, so we had to go to Heck Ed. And when you see the guys from Dallas, y'all brought us over in that little small college. And, they was having an unbelievable series, like I said. And we went in there, and I think they tried to get a little physical with us. I don't know if you remember, but I remember James Donaldson knocking me out the air. I mean, he hit me so hard. I just laid there because the wind knocked out of me. I probably had a concussion.
Yeah.
But, Frank Furtado, the greatest trainer I ever had. Made sure I was healthy. Frank Furtado, man. Love that guy.
What made him so good?
Don't matter what happened to me. I mean, sometimes we would sit in the room and we would do therapy all night.
Mm-hmm.
Wake me up. We just do it all night.
Yeah.
I'll be ready to play the next day. That's probably why I can't hardly walk today. But he got me going, and I wanted to play. But I got hit so hard, and I walked to their bench, and I was like, you MFs hit me again like that, it's going to be on. And I told the officials, I went to Bernie and said, you're going to call the same play again. And I went in there and they gave me a layup. Didn't touch me, but it was a great series for us. We closed it out. And I thought that was, and then going up against Houston, I knew we could play well against Houston. The reason why we played good, because we always play well against them. Who you going to put on Tom? You put a dream on him. He's going to go by him. Ralph, you put him, same thing. Tom's 6'11". So Tom matched up very well with them. And Dale, they had no stops for Dale coming off screen. Robert Reed, great player. But, I mean, he couldn't match the way Dale shoot. But just coming in against the Lakers, when you got Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, I mean, hell, you got 5-6 All-Stars on that team.
Right.
Very difficult to beat. And how many Hall of Famers they got on that team? You got 3 with Magic, Kareem, and Worthy, and you got borderline with Scott and Michael Cooper. So that's very difficult to beat, where we have one All-Star, and that was Tom at the time. So, but it was a great series, a great run for us.
You bring up the Lakers, and that team, of course, coached by Pat Riley, and it was showtime, and they were good, right, and they were fast, and they played above the rim. And then Pat Riley moves to New York, and X-Man moves to New York, and Pat Riley plays a completely different side. Really showed, I think, some intelligence in coaching. He knew he had different personnel. He couldn't play the showtime Laker style with the Knicks, so he went to much more of a tougher attitude. And didn't I see something where you and Riles, the first time you guys met, he kind of questioned you a little bit and said he wanted you to be tougher than you'd been, and you're telling you to be tough is
right.
It seems redundant.
As you know, you listen to Pat, he's very calm, cool, and collect. But when he talked to me that day, because I got to Phoenix and I was traveling from Seattle all day, going through those mountains and coming to Arizona, the phone wasn't working because phone service wasn't like it was, like it is today. And I finally get a call come through, and it's like, "Can you meet us in the office?" And I told him coffee. Said, "Well, we just traded your ass to New York." And I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." I enjoyed Tom. I enjoyed Kevin, Dan Marley, and all those guys, Mark West, Hornacek. I didn't fit in with them. They were a bunch of guys that were nice. They played good together. I'm not a jump shooter. Eddie Johnson fit that group better than me.
Right.
Fit that group. I'm not a standstill jump shooter. I can shoot the J, but let it get in my hands. Let me go between the legs and let me kind of shake you a little bit and then pull up. I'm not a Dale Ellis type shooter.
Right.
So, and that's what Eddie Johnson is. He fit that team better. But I got to New York. I got the training camp because I got to New York, and then I did my physical. I got in late that night, 1 o'clock. Well, I had to be up like at 6 or 7 to do the physical. Then I had to meet with Pat Riley. Then we got on the plane and went straight to Charleston, South Carolina. And before I got on the plane, and he just kept telling me, "I don't want Xavier McDaniel to play for Phoenix. I want that guy that played for the Seattle SuperSonic. That's the MF I want." And I don't need this guy, and I need you. And we had a little rocky start. And I picked it up, and then I bought my contract out, and I wasn't playing as much. But and then when we lost the Eastern Conference, the East to Boston, then my minutes went back up, and we took Chicago to 7 games. But it was. He wanted me to be Xavier in Seattle, and that was about, Phoenix. They say they wanted that tough guy, but every time I would get in with someone, Coffee Simmons put me on the bench.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to go to the bench, what do? You don't get in confrontations anymore. I walk away.
Right.
I wasn't playing the way I was capable of playing and being who I am with a chip on my shoulder. I was just out there playing, and that's not my style of play.